Good evening.
Kavod Harav, how are you?
Baruch Hashem, thank you.
Baruch Hashem.
Hello.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, so it looks like we're doing Daled. Minyan HaKriyot. Yeah, we have to do that in the tour. So it says in the tour like this. Minyan HaKriyot Shebekadish. How many times do we bow in the Kaddish? And so it says, Katav Rav Nachshon, says this rabbi, Shen Daled Shel Chova Ve'echad Shel Reshut. He says 4 times an obligation and 1 time optional. So how does it go? Itkadal v'itkadash v'korea. Then he bows. Ba'agala u'bizman kariv. Yesh meraba. V'korea. He bows again. Itparach shemeh tikut shabrichu. V'korea. He bows again. V'it'aleh v'itpa'ar v'korea. Then he bows again. V'hem shel chova. So he says these are obligation to bow in those places. Oseh shalom b'mamav. And then in the end, v'korea. Then he bows there. V'hi shel reshut. That one is optional. Interesting. V'halelu Adonai kriyot. So he says there's 5 kriyot keneged heshemot. There's 5 bowings corresponding to the 5 names shem bepasuk, which are in the verse Kimi mizrach shemesh ad mavo. Okay, and then he says oseh shalom b'mamav al shem malachim shehem esh umayim. Wow. So he says when it says oseh shalom b'mamav, that he makes peace in the upper worlds. That's what it means. What is that referring to? The angels that are of fire and water, Shem Shnei Hafechim, because they're like the opposites. So one doesn't extinguish the other. So he makes peace between, right, the angels of fire and the angels of water. That's the end of the whole tour. Can you imagine? 1 chapter. That's it. All right. So let's see Bet Yosef. So it says there in the Bet Yosef, Lashon Rabbeinu eno mevurar yafeh. What he says, right? He says the language of the Torah is not very clear. V'zeh Lashon HaKolbo. He says this is the language of the Kolbo. Kesheomer HaChazan. He says like this. When the Chazan says, Itkadal, Korea, he bows. V'chen behesh mehraba, also there. V'chen beitbarach, also there. V'chen bevrichu, also there. V'chen be'emet, I'm sorry, not v'chen be'amen, also there. V'chen katav Rabbi David Avudrahem. That's the way he writes also. V'sefer Pardes, in this book, Katuv, it's written, Arba Kriot Koreim B'Kadish. It says there that we bow 4 times in Kaddish. Ve'eluhen, it says these are the ones. Itkadal v'itkadash shemeh rabba. Be'alma divra Kol Zeh, he says all this. This is all in one bow. Okay. And then he says, Korea, he bows over there. And then the answer like that. When he starts to say the beginning of the 7 praises, Yitbarach, Vishtabach, and so forth and so on, Shemeh Tekudsha Barichu, Bekulan, and all these things, he says, Hu Korea, he bows there. Wow. So it's a little bit different than the one we saw before, right? A little bit of a different approach here. When he gets over there, Korea bows again. So he says, all these, you have to bow like, you have to bow down like fully. Hen. Then you have the bowing Oseh Shalom Miromav. Shil Rishut is optional. Ad Kanashano. This is the language of the Sefer Pardes, which comes from Rashi, right? Ve'olam nahagu. So he says, what's the custom? Kemo shkatabti b'shem kolbo. Like I wrote, it says in the name of the kolbo. Interesting. Wow. Okay, there you go. So you have the Shulchan Aruch. I'm sorry, you have the Bet Yosef there. So we'll see the Shulchan Aruch, see what it says there about this. No, we're doing Daled. Sorry. Okay, so it says in Daled, Kishomer Chazan Itkadal. Oh, there you go. When the Chazan says Itkadal, Korea, he bows there. V'chen Behesh Meraba, also there. V'chen Beit Barach, and also Itbarach. V'chen Beberichu. V'chen Be'amen, and also Amen. So that's the way it says in the Shulchan Aruch. Interesting. There's no commentary on this. Interesting. I wonder what that means. Okay, no commentary. Maybe we should look in Yalkut Yosef. Yeah, why not? Let's take a look over there. Let's run over there for a second. Okay, see what it says there. I'm going to share the screen with you so you can see it. Okay. I'm just wondering, maybe there's a different custom nowadays than the one he brings there, according to the Kabbalah or something, whatever. So, but just, I'd like to see what it says about that.
Why don't you incorporate your own commentary, Rabbi?
Oh, wow. That's a good question. Oh, okay. That is a good question. First of all, I must tell you, I don't see anything about that here. Let me just go through it again one more time just to make sure. Maybe I missed it. Yeah, it seems like it doesn't talk about it, which probably means, by the way, that it's not such a big deal. But it seems like all we have is a Shulchan Aruch because there's no commentary there, and there's nothing in the Yalkut Yosef. So therefore, right, we'll take it as it is, we'll take it at face value, as they say. So regarding what you said about, doing my own commentary. By the way, the day may come that I will do some kind of commentary. The day may come, but I must tell you that you just can't make up things from the sky. You know what I mean? You have to have sources and stuff. You got to do research. So when you write something serious in Torah, it has to be backed up by your sources. And all kinds of things like that. You just can't make up stuff from your own head and say, "Oh, gee whiz, I think this is the right way to do it." Yeah, well, okay, but what are you, God?
I'll tell you what to put in.
Okay. Okay. No problem. All right, so we'll get back to the text. It's very interesting that nobody says anything about this here. I don't know why. Usually it's not like that. They usually have a lot to say. Okay, anyway, we'll go on.
Amen.
Okay, that's my coffee to keep me awake. All right, good. Let's get back to the Bet Yosef. So it says in the Bet Yosef, hey, נהגו שאותו שאומר קדיש פוסע לאחריו. So interesting, right? That it says the custom is like this: that a person who says Kaddish, he steps back 3 steps after Shesiyama Kaddish. Once he finishes the Kaddish, he steps back 3 steps, similar to like when he finishes the Amidah as well. Katab Betumat Adeshen says in this book, Siman Yud Gimel sheposea mikodem shalosh pesiyot. So he steps back 3 steps, and then he says Oseh Shalom. That's how we do it today, by the way. We step back 3 steps, and then we say Oseh Shalom Yomamav, Hu v'rachamav v'Oseh Shalom Aleinu, v'yal kol amo Yisrael, v'yimru Amen. That's how we do. And it says, he also brought a proof for that source, right? As we said, right? We need sources. We just can't make up stuff from our own head. That's not the way the Torah works, right? The Torah is a tradition, you know what I mean? It's not some kind of a, improvisation, as they say, right? Improvise. You can't wail out in Torah, David. Okay. If you know what I mean.
Well, I mean,
yeah.
I'll respect your input. It'll
God
be,
bless. God bless. I always I give you my input, but I try not to make it too, too far reaching, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Things which are, they're based on, the sources and, not just, something fell from the sky.
Yeah. The thought just occurred to me. Is this the first passage that you've come across where there's absolutely, no input, no opinion?
No commentary. No, the truth is, it's not the first one, but with something like this, you would expect, to have some,
Yeah, I see.
a juicy topic like this one, you figure you'd have something there.
Rabbi, so
Yeah.
where do they find the sightings on the Siddur, on the Sephardic one? Because they do mention the Kav HaChaim 5635 and also the Shulchan Aruch 56:4.
Regarding what?
The bowing in what we're talking about.
So you're saying that what your Siddur says this?
Yes,
And what's the site in Shulchan Aruch?
it says 56:4.
Yeah, that's the one we just did.
Okay.
So he's telling you that that's the source, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, interesting. Anyway, I don't have the Kaf HaChaim on the computer, so I can't bring that up. So we'll have to maybe check that some other time, That's interesting to see what's written there. But it seems like, what, is it saying the same thing that we just said?
Yes.
So then probably there's not much to see there anyway, so whatever. So I guess it's pretty much, it's an agreement, everybody agrees with it. That's why you don't see any commentary, that's the only way.
Okay.
When everybody agrees, everybody stays quiet.
I want to ask you something with all due respect. Is that your assumption, or
That what?
that everybody agrees with it, and that's why there's really no debate?
No, it's not an assumption. Like, first of all, we see there's no commentary here, number one, right?
Yeah.
And she's telling us, Esther, that she, it says in her Siddur that really there's nothing else there. So it must be there's really nothing else. I mean, more or less. Otherwise, yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
Could this be construed as a whole? By
the way, I must tell you that in the Bet Yosef himself, he brings there's 3 different opinions. So there are different opinions there. You know what I mean? So pretty much he covered all the opinions. That's not the issue. The issue is, I thought maybe there was something according to the Kabbalah, I don't know, which came later, like from the Arizal. But it seems like there isn't. Otherwise, the commentaries would bring it down.
I see. Could it be that they were sleeping when this was presented to them? This.
You know what it says, right? You know what that means, right? That the guardian of Israel never sleeps. Like they say, right? The city never sleeps, right? The rabbis don't sleep much. You know what I mean? They minimize their sleep.
Yeah. Well, the city's busy sinning. That's why it's not sleeping.
You know why they don't sleep in the city? Because they're going and robbing the stores. That's why.
I just said it's too busy sinning. That's why it's not sleeping.
Yeah. Tell the DA about that. That guy over there in Manhattan. Tell him about that.
Is that what he is? A DA?
He doesn't prosecute them,
Yeah.
He lets them go because they're his brothers, they're brothers,
Yeah.
They're all brothers.
No, you know what's funny? He said that he's not going to prosecute the youth, the young people that are doing this, because they're hungry and underprivileged. So
I see.
The other night before Tucker was fired, he brought it out. He goes, "Really?" He goes, "That's that's very funny that they're hungry because obesity is a huge issue in the country. And the second place with the highest obesity is Chicago. So,
All right. So what can I tell you?
yeah. So
Anyway, getting back to reality, right? Getting back to the Torah. So as we said, right, there seems to be nothing there. Pretty much it's the story, just a custom, like it says in Shulchan Aruch. So Baruch Hashem, let's learn it and get used to it, right? And let's realize it. Right? Let's fulfill the words. Okay, Bezrat Hashem. So, by the way, that applies to you, David. You know, when the yortzeit of your parents come up, you have to say the Kaddish. So, you know, you should know how to do it the proper way. That's the way to do it, right?
yeah.
So
Right.
yeah, it also applies to you as well, and also to me. I say for my father, you know, in the summer I say Kaddish for my father. All right, there you go.
Sure.
Yeah. Let's go on. I think you have some something going on there, some noise. Okay, so here we go. So yeah, we finished this chapter. We're done. All right, so we're looks like there's one more Shulchan Aruch though. Let's see what it says there. Right, one more Shulchan Aruch. So it says, "Lachar shesiyam Kaddish." Once he finishes the Kaddish, posek gimel pesiot. You step back 3 steps. You know this, David? You step back 3 steps, and you say, "Oseh shalom b'yomalav, u'v'rachamav v'yaseh shalomenu, v'al kol ha'amo Yisrael v'yimor amen." That's the way it's done. You've done this before, David. All right. That's the way it goes.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, there you go.
Yeah.
You're all set for your next Kaddish series.
Right.
Okay, there you go. Let's go on. So we're going to the next chapter, which is Nun Zayin. So we have one more chapter in this topic, and then we're going to the next topic. All right, very good. I'm just bringing up the material here. So the next topic is going to be Kriyat Shema, the recitation of the Shema, which is also very important. So it says in the Torah, ואומר שליח ציבור ברכו את אדוני המבורך, right? ועונין אחריו ברוך אדוני המבורך לעולם ועד. So he says, right, like this, the shliach tzibur, and then they answer him like that. And this is what we call baruchu, right? This only can be done in a minyan. So regarding that, Katav Harav Rabbi Meir Mirotenburg, this rabbi writes, she'en tzarich shliach tzibur lachazor baruch Hashem HaMevorach. He doesn't have to go back and say it again. To repeat it. Aval Rabbi Yehuda Barceloni, but it says this rabbi, Katav she'tzarich lachazor baruch Hashem HaMevorach. So what's the custom? The custom is like the second opinion. That he should say it again. He should repeat it. Okay, that's already something else. So let's go to Bet Yosef. Baruch Hu was one of the important things in the prayers. And we'll explain to you why that is, by the way. God willing. So it says in Bet Yosef, Besot Perek Shlosha Shachlu. It's in the end of this Perek, Aminan B'Yushalmi. It says in Yerushalmi, Shemuel Amar. It says Shemuel. Ani motzi atzmi min haklal. Says, I don't remove myself from the community. Hativun harei hakoreh b'Torah omer Baruch Hu. It says, right, that a person reads in the Torah should say Baruch Hu. Amar Rabbi Abin. This is the Rabbi says, Michevan shtehu omer hamdorach. Since he says hamdorach, avhu eno motzi atzmo min haklal. He also doesn't exclude himself from the community. That's interesting. So this Gemara needs to be explained, right? What does this mean? Katvu sham, they wrote over there. Rabbeinu Yonah, it says Rabbeinu Yonah and Rosh, but Rabbeinu Yudah Barceloni, all these rabbis, Katab, they wrote, B'Shem Rabbeinu Sadia, the name of this Rabbi Sadia Gaon, Shauleh L'Sefer Torah, that a person goes up to read the Torah, Achar Shamar Baruch Hu, when he says Baruch Hu, Ve'onina Omrim, and they answer him, right? Baruch Adonai HaMevorach Le'olam Va'ed. That's how they answer. Gam hu yesh lo lachazor v'lomar Baruch Hashem HaMevorach. He also should go back and say it again. The Chazan, whatever, or the one who's reading the Torah, right? Ba'al Koreh. Ki, why? Hechi de'aminan le'el. It's just like we said above. Tambarech Birkat Hamazon, that a person who says Birkat Hamazon Chozer limkom shepasak, he returns to the place where he stopped. Ve'omer Baruch she'achalnu mishalov tovach haynu. This is the zimun. Haynu means to say kemo she'amru ha'acherim, like it said, the others said. Hachinami chozer ve'omer. He also here he comes back and says ma she'amru ha'acherim, what the others said. Ve'apa pi she'omer hamdorach. And even though he says hamdorach, lo tzia atzmo min haklal, he didn't exclude himself from the community. Yeah. Hachinami says here also, hamdorach keshomer nevarech, the one who says nevarech and zimun, lo tzia atzmo min haklal, he doesn't exclude himself from the community. Hachinami hamdorach, yeah, okay. Then he goes on to say, afilu hachi, he says nevertheless. Chozer ve'omer, he goes back and says, Baruch she'achalnu mishalov tovach haynu. You should say it anyway. Ad kan. So what do we see from there, all this thing, right? It seems to be a little bit disconnected from what we're talking about. He's trying to say, right, just like when it comes to the zimun and Birkat Hamazon, that the one who says the zimun answers with the community again. Same thing with the Baruch Hu, you should answer again. So from there we learn from regarding Shliach Tzibur. So that's a custom, like Rabbi Yudah Barceloni, like we said, right? So therefore, the custom is that we do repeat it. What does that mean? The Chazan repeats it, right? The one who's reading the Torah, so forth and so on. Okay, very good. The Nate goes on to say so that's the language of the Rosh. He wrote regarding this in a tshuva. I guess we have to continue in the tour because I don't think we did this yet in the tour. Okay, so it says in the tour, So he says the custom is that they say Yitbarach v'Yishtabach v'chulei b'shar sheshliach tzibur omer Baruch Hu. When the shliach tzibur says Baruch Hu, so but nowadays I don't see anybody who does this, by the way. But anyway, it says but it says, seems like better not to say it, as we said, right? You know, they should concentrate and listen to what the shliach tzibur is saying, right? Better to concentrate on what he's saying than to say your own thing, right? To go off on your own tangent there, you know, whatever, right? We don't want that. Everybody going on his tangent somewhere. Okay, good. Goes on to say, 1 second. Yes. Okay. So then he says, like we conclude in the Gemara Sotah, Pek ve'elu nemarim over there. B'chol lashon, in any language, gabe birkat kohanim, when it comes to birkat kohanim, she'en lakahal lomar psukim, that the community should not say these verses. B'sashi kohanim mevarchin, right? The same thing. They shouldn't say verses when the kohanim are blessing the people. You know, again, to go off on your own tangent there. Mizeh hatam, because of the same reason. V'gam Rav Amram lo katvo, and also Rav Amram didn't write this in the Sidur. V'zeh lashon Adoniyav Rosh Sal. This is the language of the Rosh. So says the Rosh, Katav b'tshuva, that he wrote in the tshuva, al zeh shamati. It says, I heard about this. B'chol mekomot. There are some places like this, all the places. Shomrim mitbarach v'ishtabach, like this. They say when they do Baruch Hu, כשאומר החזן ברוך הוא, ולכן מעריך בו החזן. Therefore the Chazan like does it like in a long manner, you know, stretches it out. But siman davar, so he says, what's the sign for this? Modim שמעריך בו החזן, just like the modim, the Chazan stretches it out. עד שיאמרו הקהל, until the community says modim derabanan, until they say modim derabanan, which is their answer to the modim. Okay, interesting. So, right, that's the end of the chapter. Very short. Let's see the Bet Yosef now. Oh, where do we get here? One second, I'm sorry. Made a mistake here. We'll bring it up one more time. Okay, so sorry about that. Okay. All right, so we're going to go with the Bet Yosef. Oh, I'm sorry, I was in the wrong place here. Okay, I'm sorry about that. Yeah. Okay, so I'm sorry about that. So it says, so it says my father wrote about this in Tshuva. Where is that? Klal Dalet Siman Yutet over there. Umiu Arambam, it says, however, the Rambam lo katvo, he didn't write this. Katab Rabbi David Avud Rehem. So it says this rabbi, Shigam Rab Amram Rabbenu Sadia lo katvu. They also didn't write it, he says. Interesting. So the question is, what didn't they write? I guess he means to say that they didn't write that he should come back to Chazan and repeat it again. But let's see anyway what it says in the Shulchan Aruch about this. Let's see what's the halacha. It says in Shulchan Aruch, Omer shliach tzibur baruchu et Hashem hamevorach. He says like this, ve'onim acharav, and they answer him, Baruch Adonai hamevorach leolam v'ed. That's what the Kahal answers. The Chozeh shliach tzibur ve'omer, and then shliach tzibur comes back and says again, Baruch Hashem hamevorach leolam v'ed. So he has to go back and do it again. And as we said, and even though there is a dispute about this, but as we said, right, this is the custom. That's everywhere, by the way, you go, you're going to find that this is going to be the custom there. And says the Ramah, so he says the custom is that the Shliach Tzibur says Baruch Hu a little bit long, and they say like Yitzbach. As we said, right, that a lot of people don't do this because it's a distraction. And as long as it says he's stretching out the Baruch Hu, and they're answering like this, right? But the truth is, I never saw anywhere where they do this today. So let's see in the Mishnah Berurah if the Ashkenazim do this, because the Sephardim for sure don't do this. So let's see what it says in the Mishnah Berurah. Okay.
Because the Ashkenazim suffer in life more in history.
We're all suffering now in Galut, but what can we do? So like this.
Hashem require us to do much more. You know what I mean?
All right, there you go. Let them do a little bit more. So it says like this, right? That Davka, it says in Mishnah Berurah, Davka b'shat hanigun, aval b'shat shomer hativot lo yomar klum, ve'im ana chazan marich. So he says if the chazan doesn't really stretch it out, better just to not say it at all, he says. So in other words, it's no big deal either way, right? He doesn't seem to hold by it so much. But it could be, possibly that some places do actually kind of like put this in there. What does that mean? That the chazan goes a little bit long and they do answer like this, but by the Sfardim, we never found anything like that. Our custom is not to say this. Yitbarach v'ishtabach and all this stuff, some praises at the time of Baruch Hu, as it's brought down a bit Yosef. Okay. By the way, anything in your Siddur about this one? Okay. Interesting if you have something there.
You're asking my Siddur? Kabbalah?
No, I'm asking Esther because she brought she had her Siddur opened up for us there. Nothing?
I'm still in the Kaddish.
Okay, forget about it.
Yeah.
All right. Okay, good. Baruch Hashem. Okay, I guess we could look in Yalkut Yosef. That's also a possibility to see if the Sephardim hold by this. Never heard of it before.
Kabbalah, you're talking about, there's the praise in Barhu, right? That it says bless Hashem and so on, that it's with a minyan. And then there's a small praise that it says bless, praise, glorified, exalted. Yeah?
Oh, you're very good. You have that?
Yeah. And the Siddur, the Wasserman, and I think the Sephardic one, the art school one, also has this. I can double check real quick.
Okay, check it out. Meanwhile, I'll check the Yalkut Yosef, okay? You check and I'll check.
Okay.
Okay. I'll share the screen with you guys so you can see it.
Kavod Haraf, and the Sephardic Siddur, the praise is a little bit different, and it says here Moroccan custom.
Oh, Moroccan custom. You know what that means? You know what that means, Moroccan custom?
What does that mean?
That means it's an Ashkenazi custom. You know why?
But you know, it's a little bit different.
The Moroccans, they adopted a lot of Ashkenazi customs, you know, but it seems like it's not the Sephardi custom.
And it's a lot shorter than the actual Ashkenazi, but in the Ohel Sarah and the Ashkenazi one, this praise is not there.
I see.
So it depends on the Ashkenaz, even though it's like you said, looks like it's an Ashkenazi.
I see. Very interesting. So some don't have it, right?
Correct. Not in all Siddurim.
Very good, very good, very good, very nice. Thank you for that. Okay, let's see. Yeah, so on the Yalkut Yosef, I don't see it. Yeah, so it seems like we don't do this. Moroccan custom, okay. You should know when it says Moroccan custom, it's a code for Ashkenazi.
Oh, I didn't know that.
I'm exaggerating a little bit, but sometimes that's the way it is.
Good to know, you know.
Okay, God bless. All right, because the Moroccans took on a lot of Ashkenazi customs.
Oh, okay. but it's not really the same. It's very different, It's similar.
Right.
It's like hybrid,
Yes.
I guess. I don't know, meaning, I really don't know, but it's very different.
Very nice. Okay, whatever. Anyway. Okay, so yeah, I guess we're done with that. Let's go on to the next one. I don't want to keep you too much with this question here. So there's one more to do in this chapter, and we're done with the whole topic. Okay, so let's go to bed. This is the Shulchan Aruch. We gotta see first the bit Yosef. Okay, so it says Katuv b'Sefer HaManhig. It says in the Manhig, Shedavar Pashutu, it says it's Pashut, simple, very clear. She'achar she'amar HaChazan Kaddish u'Baruch, once the Chazan says Kaddish and Baruch Hu, Keilu hitchil, it's as if already he started Be'otzer Or with the Kriyat Shema blessings. So there, as we mentioned already beforehand, you can't even talk there for the needs of the community, whatever it may be, right? For a mitzvah, whatever it is. Over there, there's no possibility to talk. So he says, this comes to exclude that there are certain places that what they do is they yell out to their friends, right? B'tzibur b'zeh, with the community, with this, and then the Chazan starts. So meaning what? That's not a proper thing to do. So what does that mean? He says, right, there was a custom like this, as I just mentioned, in some places where they would, before they started the Kriyat Shema blessings, they would yell out something, whatever. Like, I guess they said that, you shouldn't talk, whatever. But even that you cannot say, right? Don't tell people not to talk, because then you're talking, right? So you can't do that either. That's the idea. Some people, by the way, make a mistake with these kinds of things sometimes. They're trying to tell other people not to talk, but they themselves are talking because they think they're allowed to talk and tell them not to talk. So so that's not allowed to do that. Okay, so then he goes on. זה שהרי הם מפסיקים בין הסידור לשבח לתפילה צורך יחיד ולא ייתכן להתקן לשנו. So he says that Hashem should forgive them, because they're doing a sin. For the sake of an individual, right? And no, he says you cannot do that. Okay, interesting. That's the end of the Beit Yosef. So we'll see the Shulchan Aruch here. So it says like this. Makom shenahagu litzok. So there are places where they yell out al chaverehem ben kaddish u'baruch hu le'otzer or. או לדבר בצורכי רבים, טועים הם. So, you know what they do, right? They yell to their friends, don't talk, hey! Something like that. I guess that's what it means, or even to talk about something which is for the sake of the community. You're not allowed to talk over there. So once they already did Kaddish, right? That's what we're saying. And they said Baruch Hu, there's no way to talk about anything over there. You got to go straight into Yotzer Or, the blessings of the Kriyat Shema. Same thing, by the way, applies at night as well. When they do Arvit, we're going to talk about that later on. B'ezrat Hashem. When they do Arvit also, once they answer Baruch Hu, they have to go straight into the Kriyat Shema. They're not allowed to talk there. Nobody's allowed to talk. Okay, good. So that's the end of the chapter. I did want to see for 1 second, back in the tour, something that I just wanted to make sure about. I'll tell you what I mean to tell you, what I mean to say. Yes. Just give me a second, I'm sorry. So in the tour, right, so I just wanted to point this out to you, that it says in the Torah, he brought down the tshuva of the Rosh. And the Rosh says, right, that he brings down this minhag, this custom, that as we said, right, they say these praises when the Chazan is doing Baruch Hu. So the Rosh does bring it down, but what the Bet Yosef pointed out was that we don't see this in any other of the Rishonim, the Rambam, right, the Geonim, he brought down, right, several, nobody says this. So therefore, it is somewhat of a limited custom, not really accepted by the whole community. So it seems like some Ashkenazim, they do it, whatever, as we saw, right? There are some sources for that. And even the Mishnah Berurah says, right, no big deal either way. In other words, if you don't have time, he doesn't stretch it out enough, just skip it, don't worry about that. So, yeah.
Kavod Harav, who implemented this praise then?
So we see, right, that there are some sources like this. We see in the Rosh, right, he brings this down.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a custom like this, in the Ashkenazim. With the Sephardim, really, we don't find this custom so much, except Morocco, right, as we said. Morocco, yeah. Okay.
But not all Ashkenazim Sidurim has this praise, I think I got to know it once I bought this Sidur, the Wasserman one, no? So I guess.
Yeah, it could be, by the way, that the reason they don't have it is because it's not such a big deal, as we said, It's not so crucial, whatever. So maybe they skip on it. But anyway, yeah. So I think we also saw another source here regarding this, right? Yes, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
The Sidur, who compiled the Sidur? Was it Ezra?
I'm sorry, which Sidur are you asking about?
Who put the Sidur together? Was it Ezra?
Oh. This was, what we call that, right? Anshe Knesset HaGdolah.
Can you repeat that?
The men of the Great Assembly.
Okay. So the one from the Sanhedrin.
This was a big Bet Din, they had 120 people there.
Oh. Okay.
Which was in the second temple.
Mm-hmm.
So what they did was they compiled the prayers that we have today.
Okay. Wow.
But right, what happened was that it got split up into two factions. But there was the Sephardi, version and the Ashkenazi version.
Mm-hmm.
So they're a little bit different, but basically they're all the same. I mean, more or less. But they're a little bit different. It's So we have two different customs. Mainly, right? Mm-hmm. Ashkenaz and Sephardi.
And then
they put these two together, made a hybrid version, hybrid, like which is called Sfard. It's like a little bit of both.
Is that Chabad, what you're saying?
Yeah, pretty much Chabad is also like in that direction, like all the Hasidim, what they do. It's like a mixture of Sephardi and Ashkenaz.
Mm-hmm.
That's why some of the Ashkenazi rabbis don't like it, because they say it's like a hybrid, like either you're Ashkenaz or you're Sephardi, but why be in the middle? Like why be a hybrid model? Like either you're here or you're there, like David, 1 foot over there, 1 foot over here. What's the point?
But so all these men got together with Ruach HaKodesh. They put the Sidur together, yes?
Of course, yeah. There was Ruach Kodesh there. There was prophecy there. There was a lot of wisdom there. And by the way, you should know that these prayers that we have are extremely deep.
Yes, they're very powerful.
They're extremely powerful. So therefore, a person should not change nothing there, Just, use it the way it is. Don't touch it. Don't try to play with it.
Yeah, it could be.
You don't even know what's going on there, how deep the prayers are.
It's like the Tehillim too, it's very, very deep.
Tehillim, right? That's Tehillim is right. It was compiled by David HaMelech and also some other authors as well. But anyway, right? That's the way it is. So so you have to be very careful, not to change anything. By the way, I must tell you also, I did see Rav Moshe Feinstein alav shalom. They asked him about this Sfard, nusach, which is a mixture of both, as we said, right?
Okay, that's what it means.
They asked him, is it allowed to pray this nusach?
And what did he say?
Because it's really a hybrid model.
That's what
they asked him, So he was a very interesting mind, very interesting posek he was. So he says that there must be a basis for it, that if they did this, they must have had like a basis. So he says it's okay. Whoever has a custom to pray that, he says he can continue. So what does that mean? He doesn't have to nullify the custom, and start doing Ashkenaz only, whatever, something like that. Right? He allows them to continue that nusach, which is called Sfard, right? Which is basically Hasidic. That's what it is, right?
I didn't know what it really meant until you just explained it to me. So
it's a mixture of both, right? It's a mixture. It's So you know how that works, right? The way it works is like this: that what happened was that the Hasidim, that movement started about 300 years ago. With the Baal Shem Tov and his Talmidim, blah, 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 all this, right? Whatever. So what happened was that they rebelled against the establishment, Ashkenazi establishment. And they started to make their own rules and their own customs, whatever. So their goal was to do everything Sephardi.
And yet they're not.
That's what they wanted, They thought, being Sephardi is cool, right? As we said, right? They like us, whatever. They think we're cool people. So they wanted to do everything Sephardi. But what happened was that the Mitnagdim, the ones who opposed them in the Ashkenazi world, they fought with them. They had a big fight, So there was a big tumult that went on there. So what happened was that in the end, since there was a big fight, so it turned out somewhere in the middle, like a compromise. So this was a compromise plan. That's what it is. So that's why a lot of rabbis don't like it, because they say, how can you compromise? Either you're here or you're there. You can't be in both. You can't be at two weddings at one night. You can't dance at two weddings at one night. So some people don't like it because of that. But anyway, right, it's all good, Baruch Hashem. Everything is good, but whatever, right? It is what it is. Today we have Baruch Hashem. We have basically, as you said, we have these three. But the truth is, we also have a fourth one, which is the Temani, the Yemenite.
The Yemenite.
They also have their own Sidur, which is not really like ours. It's quite different, So we have, I guess, you could say we have four major, streams going on there. But basically it's two, it's Ashkenaz and Sfard, Sephardi, and the other two are more like minor, like more on them, because the Temanim, they're like pretty much a minority. They're not such a big group, like Temanim, the Yemenites, whatever, So, but they do have their own customs, and the reason is because they didn't return to the second temple, so they were cut off from the main community in Israel. They weren't connected with them so much, and because of that, they developed their own customs. They didn't really follow the leadership of the Israeli, the Israeli community and the Judean, customs that they did in Israel. They were very far away, because Yemen is quite far from Eretz Israel. You know what I mean? It's like close to the equator. It's very far. So therefore, there was no internet in those days. So they developed their own customs, and they kept their own customs. So they have a different Sidur. And even their Sefer Torah is a little bit different than ours.
The both are different.
Sefer Torah is a little bit different. So what do I mean to say different? Chasim be'yitirot, right? The full and lacking letters, right? The words with a yud, without a yud, with a vav, without a vav. There are certain things which are the discrepancy there a little bit. Okay, very good. So I guess we'll stop there. We'll continue next time with the Shem. Thanks for coming tonight. God bless you. Be blessed with wealth, health, happiness. See you tomorrow. Be happy and healthy. Amen. Amen. Be holy.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you so much.
God bless.